when we are joined by this amazing Canadian recording artist, Elijah Woods. Elijah, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I am excellent. So happy to be back. I miss you. It's been
I
forever.
miss I miss you too. And like, do you see your name in fancy lights? Is that
I
cool?
know. I wasn't gonna say it because it makes me seem a little egotistical, but I like seeing it up there.
I always like to be like, am I the only one that's done that for you today? So that's
You're the first today for sure. So I appreciate it.
amazing. So there's much to talk about, and I have to start with this because I follow you on social media, unsurprisingly, and I know it wasn't that long ago that you proposed to your lady.
I
So
did. I
now
did.
you are locked and loaded to get married. So and it sounds like this was a long time coming, this like or a long planning process. Can you tell us how this all went down?
It was, yeah. It was probably the most stressful thing I've ever done because I'm really bad at keeping secrets, like just like actually atrocious at keeping secrets. Like even when I buy her a gift, sometimes like in October I came back and I got her a bag that she wanted, and I was like, oh my God, like I got you a Christmas gift, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. The next day I gave it to her, even though it's her Christmas gift, because I have so much anxiety about hiding things. Like I just can't do it. So this was like 4 months of planning, and I organized this like surprise trip to New York, and she thought we were going for work and we are having meetings and stuff like that. And I set up a photographer to come follow us around in Central Park, and I sorted out the ring. I bought in New York and this whole thing. And then we went to the park and I got down on one knee and she had no idea, which was very, very cool. So I'm very happy. I'm happy she said yes. That's a good thing. I was not super nervous about that, but it's always an option. You never know.
And you guys have been together, is it 4 years now?
Yeah, going on 4 years. Yeah, we're
Okay.
almost at 4 years here. But it's we moved in together, I think 2 months after. It was one of those situations where we started dating like November, and then COVID happened the March after that. And it was, yeah, she came to my house for a week and then just never left. And it was like we knew then, we were like, oh, this is just it for us. We it was one of those connections for sure.
That's amazing. And if you go to Elijah's social media to watch the whole ring situation, so how did you even find out about this company? And like, it sounded like they were amazing, the work they did for you. The ring looks fantastic.
They were awesome. It's a company called Ring Concierge, and her best friend and I actually kind of finessed this whole thing, and they were really, really great. I just reached out via email and said, "Hey, here's what I'm looking for," and they were awesome because I had no idea what I was talking about. They were like cut and clarity, and I'm like, "Is it a diamond?" I was like, "I don't understand. Like, I don't know what it means. I think she wants a diamond." So, yeah, it was weird and stressful, but I learned a lot, and they were awesome. Yeah, as a company out of New York, and they were lovely, lovely humans, and they just made the process very, very easy.
And I know that it's only like a few weeks into engagement, but like, is serious planning happening? Or are you waiting? Are you gonna wait it out a little bit?
It's stressful. I'm like, it's funny because like you want to give people enough time to be like, hey, come to my wedding and make sure that like you book that weekend off, whatever it is. I have a very blended family in terms of like my parents are both separated and remarried happily, very happily, but I got stepbrothers and people everywhere and people in other countries, and half my family's in Australia and like this whole thing. So it's really tough to try to find somewhere that works for everybody. So I think we've landed on we're just going to do a destination wedding. And then it's like, if you want to come, you're going to make the investment. It's going to be a fun time. And like people who show up are going to have a really, really good time. So we're slowly getting into it. This next like the next sort of 3 weeks are crazy for me. So I'm like, I think after that we'll seriously get planning. But I think we got another year. I want to enjoy being engaged and doing that whole thing, and then we'll go from there.
I'm on a 7-year engagement plan. So like
Okay, okay. Honestly, we might be there. I might see you there.
we just can't like because initially the first couple of weeks you're like, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that. And then when you realize like how much work it is, you're like, we're gonna just chill out for a bit. And
Yeah.
7 years later,
There you go. Well, you know what? The good thing is you're both committed and you're still there and you're
yeah,
doing the thing, and you
yeah,
haven't spent all that money on the marriage, so you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. And we
You're gonna do
figured
a
like
house.
we invested in a house, 3 huskies, and some motorcycles. So we figure like we're
Yeah, no, honestly, your money's gone to better things, in my opinion.
so talk to me about this Dean Lewis situation. How did you get involved in opening for him when he comes to Montreal?
Super wild. I've been a Dean Lewis fan forever. The first song I've heard of his was that "Be All Right" tune. I think that we all heard on the radio. And I was just like infatuated by his voice and his tone and the whole thing. And years later, I saw that he was touring Canada, and I was like, oh my God, he doesn't have an opening slot. So I just randomly posted on social media one day. I was like all hyped up on caffeine. I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if I opened for Dean Lewis? And then it kind of gained some traction. I think I got like, I don't know, a few 100,000 views or something like that. And people started tagging him. And then he just like commented like a little eyes emoji. And I was like, oh, okay. So he saw it. So then I posted the same thing on Instagram. And then he commented on that video. And I was like, oh, damn, like this might happen. So then I texted my manager. I was like, hey, can you maybe just like reach out to his team and just see if this is an actual thing? And then he did. And Dean was like, totally, that's awesome. But I only found out from him calling me on the phone. I was at Whistler actually, like snowboarding for a little while, and I happened to be inside, like checking. I was checking the social media thing on my what's it called, on my laptop, and I was like, my girlfriend at the my fiance, whatever you want to call her, was still getting used to that, was recording me for this social media thing, and all of a sudden my phone rings, and it was a number from Australia, and I have family there, so I was like, okay, I'll pick up in case they got a new number or whatever. And it was Dean Lewis, and he was like, hey dude, want to come on tour with me? I'm like, what do you, yes, hey, what's up? Yeah, absolutely, I want to come on tour with me, but with you. So that'll happen, and the first date is actually on Monday the 22nd in Montreal, which I'm very, very excited about. It's unfortunate because I'm like trying to promote it, but they're all sold out because he's so awesome. And it's just like, I want to be like, yo, come to the show, come hang out. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're already at the show, I'll also be there. So it's going to be fun.
That is so cool. It's really cool when like things manifest out in the universe. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm all about it. And he's such a lovely human and seems like such a lovely human. I haven't met him in person yet, but yeah, big shout out to Dean and the team and everybody there. Just good people.
Now you have a song out called Make Believe. Tell us about it, please.
Yeah, so it's funny because you listen to Make Believe and it sounds like this like anthemic, like I want you back sort of anthem, and this like um kind of like ode to a relationship that's really failing. And I actually wrote it about my creative process because I was like in this place where everything I wrote I hated. Like every single song I was writing was just like really, really awful. So I actually had to like make believe in the fact that I was a recording artist and a songwriter in this whole thing. And I wrote like a breakup song to the creative process, and like really, really fighting for that thing and holding on to these like straws that really connected me to songwriting and connected me to recording in general. And it came out to be like one of my favorite songs to perform live, and one of my favorite like chorus melodies ever. Just like this huge anthemic kind of synth driven thing, which I haven't put a lot of stuff out like that. But it was one of those songs where I was with a good friend of mine, 12 a.m., and we were sitting actually in this room, and I started playing those chords underneath the chorus, and he started singing the melody on the chorus. I was like, oh, there's something here. This is crazy. And then all the words just kind of fell out. But first listen, I think everyone will be like, oh my God, are you going through a tough time in your relationship? I'm like, absolutely not. Let me tell you, it's great.
Are you going to maybe perform at the wedding, you think?
No way. I'm not working at my own wedding.
Well, I thought
I
maybe
can.
you'd write a little tune for your lady and perform
Oh,
it.
she's got enough songs. She's got enough
Okay.
that her. No, no way. That's my day off. I get that. I get the wedding off.
Okay, that's
She
perfect.
also told me, she also told me pretty early on, she's like, listen, if you ever sing to me at one of those situations, I will leave you. I will not, I can't be a party to it. Because there's nothing worse. Dude, actually hilarious story. I was at one of our friends' wedding, and one of the humans, I can't remember who it was, got really drunk, and they like obviously knew who I was, and like Hannah was there and the whole thing, and it was Hannah's birthday. So they're like, Elijah, come up on stage and sing happy birthday to Hannah. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like no one sounds good singing
Yeah.
happy birthday. Like it's not like it's a communal song. It's not like
Yeah.
single somebody out and just like let it wail. And I had a few too many drinks, and I was like, there's no way this is happening. And then I had to get on stage and sing happy birthday to Hannah. And it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. It was horrible. It was just like, so I kind of vowed to myself again that I'm not going to do that. It's not for me.
Yeah. That's
No.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, you have an EP coming out. What if it was great? So tell us about how you decided on the title and what we can expect that's coming our way on June 9th.
So yeah, very excited for this project. This is kind of a culmination of the last probably 6 to 8 months of my like writing journey. And the title itself is actually just a reflection on self-doubt and just really like my creative process and overthinking everything and making sure that everything fits inside of a certain box and fits inside of a certain thing. And I was looking at everything, all my songs, from the lens of like, oh, does this work? And are people going to like this? And is it my best work? And is it the best thing? And then I had like a kind of a little mental breakthrough maybe like 6 weeks ago, and I was like, but what if it was actually just great? Like, what if it turned out to be these great songs? And I was like, that's the title. It's just too easy. It works. It's kind of an ode to I'm gonna butcher the saying, but like what if things were better than you could ever possibly imagine or whatever. Like you do something and you hope for the best, but you never really know. But I think it's really easy to focus on the negative of something, and it kind of applies to like a lot of life situations. It's really easy to worry and to stress about things, but like you don't know until you actually do it. And that kind of gave me the freedom to like look at all the songs and be like, oh, I really love these for what they are and for being this chapter of my life. I think it's really easy as a creative and as anybody in the music industry, as anybody in a lot of creative industries, to like move past your last work really, really quickly because you've lived with it for so long and you've lived with these songs and these moments and these lyrics and this whole thing for so long, and then they come out and then you're like, oh, I don't really relate to that anymore because that was 6 months ago or whatever. And it gave me the permission to revisit that in a really, really awesome way. And now playing it live, like I'm just like, it gives me a whole nother life with it. So I'm very, very excited for it to come out. There's going to be a few new songs in there and some of my favorite songs I've ever done. So very, very excited for that to come out June 9th.
Now, several months back, I saw again on your social media that you had released a song called Matthew for your brother, who passed away a long time ago. I think it's 14 years, right? Or it's 14.
Yeah, it was 2008. Yeah. So
Okay.
almost, yeah,
So
15
can you
years.
tell us how you were able to release this? Because it's such a personal, like beyond personal situation.
So, I mean, I guess it's kind of the long and short of it is, for anybody who's ever gone through death, anybody who's ever gone through loss, I feel like everybody has at this age. You know that it doesn't really, it never leaves, it never goes away. It just kind of changes shape. And for me, I was so young when it happened that I think it's really easy when you're young to just like not deal with it because like you see your parents reacting to it and you're like, okay, that's how I should feel. And then you see other people talking to you about it and you're like, okay, that's how I should feel. And it actually came to a head when I turned 23, which was the age that he died. And that was a number of years ago, but I started thinking about it a lot more and started processing it. And I started talking to my therapist about it, and I really opened up about it and just like how I actually felt about it and the questions that I had about it. And um, I've always like looked for a way to feel closer to my older brother Matthew, and I never found it because there was such a big age gap and there was so much distance in between. Like I'd lived past the years that he'd been alive, and I'd experienced things that he hadn't experienced just because he didn't have the opportunity to. And so I started writing songs about it, and it eventually turned into just a huge collection of notes and moments and questions and memories and little anecdotes that I'd sort of collected over a couple of years. And finally last summer, I was like, okay, I think it's time to do this. And it kind of came to a T. I started writing with a good friend of mine, Adrian Mitchell. Used to be in New City, wicked songwriter, and we just chatted for 6 hours. And I was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And he was basically my therapist for a while. And we fleshed out like the lyrical content of the song, and then I sat down with Jesse actually, and I think it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had musically because it was so hard to just revisit it and to go back in there. And now it's so wild because when we were done writing the song, I listened to it and I can like feel him there, and I can like be there in the song with him. And then when I don't listen to it, I don't have to be there anymore, which is so cool. It gives it a place and it gives it a timestamp. It's like for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I could be there with him and then I can leave. And it's so like nice because it feels like it packaged a certain emotion and like a certain feeling into a nice box, a nice neat box that I can visit whenever I need. And I showed it to my family and they were so supportive, because that was one of the scariest things for me too, is like, that was my experience. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to make the people I love revisit that thing, because it's horrible. It's not a nice thing, but I think it gave them another life to it, and everyone's so appreciative. So actually, for the first time, I'm gonna try to perform it on this Dean Lewis tour, and we'll see how it goes. It's a tough one for me to sing for sure, but I think the messages I've got from releasing it and doing all that is it's really eye-opening to how many people have gone through horrible things like this, and that there is light at the other side of that, because ultimately like life does go on, and you gotta just see the best in it and keep going.
Will that song be on the new EP, Elijah?
That song is not. I made a very conscious decision to not promote that song and to not have it attached to anything, because for me, it sounds really selfish. I didn't write that song for anybody else. I wrote it for me, and for me, the reason I put it out, to answer your initial question, sorry, that was the long and short of it, but to answer your initial question, the reason I put it out is to let go of it, and to make it real. Because if it just sat on my computer forever, I would I think I'd be scared to listen to it, and I think I'd be scared to address it. But I put it out for me, and it's been insane to watch the response to it. But I could care less if it has 2 plays, or I think it's at 10 million now or something ridiculous. Like it's a lot of people are relating to it. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it for that. So um, I really I needed to do it for me. I know, like, it, as crazy as that sound, it was music is like my therapy and like my voice and my expression, and that is kind of, it's as deep as it goes for me.
What are you manifesting for the next 6 months to a year for your fans to kind of maybe know what's coming apart from the EP?
I'm manifesting a lot more music. I want to I really love creating new exciting chapters for me. And I think the few songs that aren't released from the EP show a couple of new colors for me, which I really love. And I'm kind of just finding my stride in being a front facing recording artist. Like, it's cool that I've been doing it for a long time now as a producer and as a songwriter and as everything, but as like a front man and as a recording artist, Elijah Woods, I'm pretty new to that, like recording my own voice and doing that whole thing. But it's amazing to see how everyone's been responding to music, and that support that I've gotten. So I think experimentation and just like making sure that I'm still excited by all this stuff, and yeah, bunch of really cool stuff coming out. But the main thing is quantity, because I produce and write all my music myself actually in this room. I wonder if I can show you this. My studio's a mess, but this is
Oh my
where.
God, it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a small little room, but it's great, and I love it. And I use all the tools in this room and all the guitars and everything to make everything. So that's my passion, and I love creating it. And my goal in manifestation is to be able to put out. I'm trying to do 18 songs this year, and I think I'm at. It'll be after the EP. I think it's 8. So we got a lot coming, at least 18.
Another a lot. I like that. A few final questions for your fans. So first of all, which Canadian artist right now would you love to collaborate with?
Great question. Who do I not want to collaborate with? I love. I love where Canada's at right now. I think attainably, I'd love to do a song with Tate McRae. I think she's very brilliant. I think she's awesome. I think manifestation wise, I would love to do a song for Justin Bieber. I would love that. He's like huge inspiration. Who else am I super excited about? Let's give a little underground shout out. I also really like Preston Pablo too. He's dope. I met him a couple times. He's a sweet guy. Wicked singer, awesome performer. I think we'd do some cool stuff together. But I'm in this kind of like low key pocket right now, which I like. I like just like flying on my own and doing this thing, and like I like just making music by myself too. It's so much fun.
Tell me about a TV show from your childhood that you would love to see rebooted.
Great question. I would say Sesame Street, but it's still on. That was like goated. Trying to think now. I really like The Weekenders. That was a big one for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know that actually that's a tough question, because I don't think I want to see anything rebooted. I think what makes it so cool is that it's not here anymore. Because if it
Yeah.
still was, like, and I got to preface that because Sesame Street is still sick. Like, I want to be on Sesame Street. That's a huge goal of mine. I don't know, to get rebooted. I think reboots kill it. I think they ruin it. So I don't think I want anything rebooted. I'll just rewatch the old episodes and live in
Okay,
the nostalgia.
that is fair. And is there a household chore that you actually like to do?
Ooh. Um, I do enjoy vacuuming occasionally. I hate doing laundry. I hate it. I like doing the dishes in the morning. I like that. I find that pretty like cathartic, good way to start the day, clean up your space. What else do I like doing? I like dusting. I really like dusting. That's
I
like
don't know
5
if
things.
anyone
But
has ever told me that they like dusting, so this is
I just I don't know why. I just like I hate seeing dust on things, and I love like clean computer screens. I don't know, I'm like OCD or something.
best thing about Montreal.
Um I got 2 bests actually. The M Telus, I love that venue. I think that's a really fun venue, and we're gonna be there on Monday and Thursday, I think. Monday
I
and
mean,
Thursday
I
next
think
week.
so, the 25th, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 22nd, 25th. And I also really like a restaurant called De Emma. I don't know if you've ever been there. I very much like that. Can't eat it too much because I would be a blimp, but it would be, if I could eat there every day, I would.
And final message for your Montreal fans.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting. I think Montreal actually is my number 2 most listened city on Spotify right now. So thank you for supporting me and letting me do what I do, because I do not take it for granted. And I feel so fortunate that I get to wake up every single day and make music in a tiny little room in Toronto. So thank you for loving me and supporting me and giving me the confidence to do all this.
Amazing. Elijah, thank you so much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly. It's so lovely to see you, and it's always a pleasure. And you're such a good interviewer, and you're just awesome. You're just great. So hopefully we'll see you at one of the shows.
Hey, it's Kelly, and I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for all of the support that you continue to show The Kelly Alexander Show and our latest program, Just Dance, that I co-host with award-winning choreographer Tina Landon. We've been having so much fun on Just Dance, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We've done interviews with Brian and Scott Nicholson, who work with Ariana Grande, RJ and Nick, who work with Pink and Katy Perry, Luther Brown, who works with our girl Janet Jackson, and the list goes on and on. And we also have many surprises coming for you in this coming year. So please sign up and join us to have lots of fun. hy.page/Kelly Alexander Show, our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, and our newsletter, which is kellyalexandershow.com/subscribe.